It's been a little over a month since South Dakota Secretary of State Monae Johnson took office. She did so after an insurgent campaign that ousted an incumbent. Johnson capitalized on negative feelings felt by more conservative Republicans toward elections to catapult her way into office.
State House reporter Austin Goss caught up with Johnson for her first interview since taking office. It's an interview you'll only see on Dakota News Now.
From receptionist to the state's top election official, Monae Johnson has worked in and around the Secretary of State's office for more than a decade.
I think it was an amazing perspective because, one, we have documents that come in daily.
But for the mother of six, three of whom were adopted, the road from political obscurity to Secretary of State was not always glorious. Johnson faced scrutiny along the way, in part for her opinions on the 2020 election and because of comments made about hand-counting ballots. Johnson says she at times feels she has been misconstrued. She believes South Dakota has fair elections, and she doesn't want every ballot hand-counted. She's also dealing with politics within her department. Johnson has removed a number of staffers from her office since she was sworn in.
You learn who's your friend and who's not your friend when you do things like this. You learn who you can trust and who you can't. For me, I was just putting myself out there. I have experience, I really want to work hard, and I'm willing to go to peer, and then so you just put yourself out there, and then you see who's willing to, come alongside you, back you, and yeah. So there's those that aren't happy that I joined the race.
But for the 60-year-old West River native, she thinks things are evening out. She feels confident with the staff she has brought in now. The Secretary of State's office plans to host an election security summer study next year, with the hopes of bringing a post-election audit bill in 2024.
It's a summer study hosted by our office for the post-election audit, and there are many varieties of post-election audits and how you can do that, and I want to get the input of county auditors and different groups and organizations and legislators to all come together and work on that through the summer, and then present that, a good package, and other election bills, present that next session.
And for Johnson, the buck stops at the Secretary of State's office. She hopes to serve 2 terms, something that hasn't happened since Chris Nelson served in 2011, and then retire to the hills.
We'll have to find somebody, that we can train so that it's just an easy, that's the way it should be. The deputy ends up becoming the Secretary of State. So I just want to do the job and do it well.
As for this legislative session, Johnson says she's not bringing any bills of her own, but does plan to kill any sort of online voter registration bill if it does come up. In Pierre, Austin Goss, Dakota News Now.